So last week I attended a workshop for photographers here in Berlin, and I met someone who just left product photography even after getting their first client because they found setting up the business too expensive. So in this video I will show you how you can create stunning product photos for your portfolio without spending on time. And to demonstrate that, I will be shooting this watch using only this book as a prop. So they had just got their first client. They were in the process of finishing up their portfolio. They had to rent out a new studio with all the lighting, background. Then they had to buy different props. They also marketed themselves using tools and they printed out a lot of business cards. So after all of this, they decided to step away from product photography business because it got really expensive to set up everything. Don't step away from product photography just because you think that you need to spend a lot of money. You don't. You don't need expensive gear, expensive setup. You don't need to rent out studios. You don't need to buy the most expensive camera or lens in order to build your portfolio or get your first clients. Now, this is the light I will use for the photo shoot. This is a Godox SL153. It's a continuous light and it's my main light. If you watch all my other behind the scene videos, which you should, this is the main light that I use in almost every video. Also, I can't buy a new light every time because it's very expensive. I will buy it when I need it, and you should too, right? I will direct this light from the top on the book at 45 degrees, right? And then I will place my camera somewhere here, looking down at the book from the opposite side at 45 degrees. So when I was talking to that person in workshop last week, I got a sense that they spent too much money too fast. First of all, they rented out a studio on a monthly basis, and studios generally cost an upwards of at least 500 euros a month in Berlin. It might be less, but as far as I know, generally you pay around 500 euros a month for renting out a studio. Maybe more, depending on the facilities. Now, if you are just building your portfolio, if you don't have any clients yet, I find it a bit lavish to basically rent out a studio, right? Now, they bought themselves a really good camera. In fact, they spent around 2000 euros on the camera body itself, and then they went ahead and bought a new lens as well. There is this growing trend where you think that if you use the top-notch gear, if you use the highest quality gear, only then you can create the highest quality photos, which is not true. And this is because the main component in product photography is light. If you do have the money to spend on a gear, start with light. They rented out a studio, so light is not a problem. But I'm just saying that you need to invest in really good light, and that's why I have this one, this Godox SL153. I had a limited amount of money to spend while I was starting out. I was doing street photography for the last 4 years before this, so I already had some gear. But I did not buy any new lens, I did not buy any new camera. I just started using the camera that I have. Now, I had the luxury of owning a really good camera from my street photography days. So, I think I may be lucky on that. Not everybody is. But really, if you have really good lighting, you can basically shoot with any camera. So before I start shooting and use that book as a prop, it's important to know why I have selected that book. You can only understand styling well when you understand the product and the idea behind it. So in the watch industry, it's very uncommon that any brand makes all of the components of the watch by its own. And even if they do, basically those watches are very expensive, obviously to cover the cost of production. We are talking about stuff like Rolexes, Tudors, Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, etc. So there is an exception to this rule, and it's the Raketa Big Zero. Now, Raketa is a Russian manufacturer, and it creates 100% of its components by its own, even the springs. That is a pretty big deal. But that's not the kicker. The bigger thing is that almost all of its watches are very affordable. This particular timepiece is a Raketa Big Zero. And it's called a Big Zero because instead of 12, it has a zero on the 12-hour marker, right? It's an iconic timepiece. I bought this one for under $100, around $80 on eBay. It's a vintage Raketa Big Zero, but it's in very, very good condition. It has this gold case and everything. The main thing is it looks classy and sophisticated with a bit of creativity thrown in. And I want to maintain that theme in the photo shoot. And that's where our prop comes in. So I'm going to use this book. This book, The Client by John Grisham, is a legal thriller. So it has that kind of vibe going on. And then it has this photo on the cover of a shattered glass. And I plan to use this photo of the shattered glass as a backdrop for this watch, like this. So what happens is now that the shattered lines on the photo will act as leading lines for our product. And it looks kind of cool. So we will try to do that, and with this black cover with shattered lines and gold lettering, it basically captures the classy and sophisticated vibe of the watch, while the shattered lines and the shattered glass can complement the creative theme of the watch with the zero. There's something which is out of place in the watch industry and doing its own thing. So, this is the idea behind using this book cover as a prop. So, now enough talking by me. Let's start the photo shoot and you will see what I mean. So, I'm going to place this book on the edge of the table and then place this watch just on the middle of the shattered lines where the glass is getting shattered. You see here? So let me do that. And also, obviously, I'm not going to start the photo shoot because I need to set time on this watch. Now, make sure to set the time on the watch to 10 past 10 or 10 to 2. This is the industry standard while shooting watches. If you don't set the time correctly, you can also be taken as unprofessional or just a beginner. So I will place the watch here, right where we want, and let's start shooting. Right, so this is the photo before editing, and this is the photo after post production. I'm really happy with this photo. The shattering glass on the book, the gold lettering, the text, everything complements the watch dial really well. Even the watch straps are coming on really nicely with those texture, with those a bit of highlights. Also, when I look at this photo, I think there's a bit of storytelling. I mean, the watch is basically placed on a glass shatter, so it means that there is something going on there, something about to happen or something waiting to happen, and it adds an element of mischief and mystique to the whole setup. And I think it demonstrates really nicely how you can take stunning photos, at least for your portfolio and even for the clients, using nothing but a book. By the way, if you like this content, like what I'm doing here, and it feels helpful to you, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For you, it's just a like, it's just a press of a button, but for me, it's huge. Also, please remember to share your thoughts in the comments below about this shoot or any shoot in particular, or mainly how you are going about setting up your own photography business. So, yeah, I'll be really interested in hearing your thoughts. I hope you have a great day or week ahead. I hope to see you next time. Bye.